Story 1. The Lake House Whispers. Why did Lainey Friedman hear a child's voice calling from her locked basement when no child had ever lived there? She'd just inherited the old lake house after her uncle passed unexpectedly. On her second night, a soft, rhythmic knocking started beneath the floorboards. The local sheriff dismissed it as pipes expanding, but the whispering never stopped. "Come play. It's cold down here." Police arrived after her frantic 911 call, but found nothing. No child, no intruder, no sign of forced entry. Still, she moved out the next morning. Smart move. In old homes with sealed basements, strange sounds are never just old wood settling. Next time you're in a place with a locked door and no key, ask who locked it and what they were trying to keep in. When investigators finally pried open the basement months later, they found it half flooded, with children's toys floating on the surface. One of them, a broken doll missing an eye, was identified by a woman whose daughter vanished from a lakeside campground 4 years earlier, 10 miles away. No bodies, no fingerprints, just a concrete room, a rusted drain, and claw marks near the hatch. Even more chilling? That same burner had connected to towers across several missing persons sites over a 5-year span. He never left the town, neither did the victims. A static location doesn't mean a static mind. The real horror? The killer never needed to chase. He lured. Revisit timelines. Monsters hide in patterns, not distance. 2 months after the discovery, a neighbor named Cliff came forward with a chilling detail. One rainy night, years prior, he heard a soft knock at his back door around 2 a.m. A child's voice saying, "Please, I'm lost." He opened the door, saw no one, and figured it was a dream. But when he mentioned it to the uncle the next day, the man simply said, "Kids play tricks." That line haunted Cliff for years. We often rewrite the strange to stay comfortable. When something feels wrong but looks ordinary, question the ordinary. Every time a retired crime scene analyst reviewing the files pointed out something overlooked. There were no interior photos of the cabin when Lainey arrived. None. Had she taken a quick walk-through video, investigators might have noticed the basement door's latch had been reversed, locking from the outside. This detail, trivial at first glance, changed the entire theory. Never assume a place is empty just because it looks staged. Document everything the moment you enter an unfamiliar space. Photos don't just capture memories, they catch lies you won't notice until it's too late. 2 final pieces surfaced from evidence storage. A child's tooth and a bite mark found on the underside of a basement step. The dental match was confirmed, one of the long-missing girls. But the step had never been analyzed before. Why? It was coated in old paint, until moisture revealed the imprint. A physical link between the victim and the home. Case closed? Not even close. The tooth was recent. The girl had been missing 4 years. Some victims die twice, once in body, again in paperwork. When the timeline doesn't make sense, it's not a stretch. It's a cover-up. Never trust closure when evidence still bleeds. Story 2. Signal lost at mile 59. What do you do when someone disappears in a dead zone, literally and digitally? In 2019, college sophomore Dylan Reese vanished during a solo drive through a remote stretch of highway known for frequent GPS dropouts. No service, no traffic cams, and no signs of struggle. Just his abandoned car parked neatly on mile 59. Police searched 30 miles in every direction. Nothing. But here's the twist. 2 days later, his mom received a voicemail. Static. Then Dylan's voice. "Turn around. He's not..." Cut. Even silence has echoes. You just need the right ears to hear them. Trust your gut, but always trust the data. Even broken signals tell stories. An amateur radio club scanning emergency bands picked up a bizarre broadcast that same week. It was faint, fragmented, and chilling. A male voice muttering coordinates, followed by screaming, then static. The frequency? 27.185 megahertz. Technically a dead band, unused for over a decade. Authorities brushed it off as a hoax, but one ham operator logged the signal strength and triangulated it, placing the origin exactly at mile 59. Dismissed data isn't worthless, it's just misunderstood. Never let official silence override uncommon evidence. Sometimes the weirdos with antennas find what satellites can't. 3 months later, a startup specializing in AI-driven geotriangulation offered to analyze all available cell and satellite data from Dylan's route. What they found flipped the case. A 6-minute GPS blackout, right before mile 59, lined up with a weather anomaly, dense, fast-moving fog. Within that window, one vehicle was detected leaving the road and never re-entering. Dylan's wasn't the only case. 4 similar disappearances over 10 years, all within that same gap. Patterns don't lie. People do. Leverage tech that sees what eyes and excuses can't. When maps fail, timelines can still speak. Paused at the halfway mark. Drop "found" in the comments if you'd bet on GPS over gut instinct. Got your own theory? We read everyone. Hidden inside Dylan's dashcam firmware was a last frame nobody noticed. A blurred figure stepping out of the fog, wearing a jacket with a distinctive patch. No one recognized the emblem, but investigators matched it to a defunct security company linked to missing persons in the region. It wasn't random. It was a message. Sometimes the smallest data point cracks the coldest case. If your instincts say something's off, dive deeper. Hidden clues often lurk where you least expect. Technology uncovers what human eyes overlook. A trucker passing through that stretch recalls a sudden, unplanned detour late one foggy night. He swears the highway signs vanished, replaced by worn-out symbols no GPS ever showed him. His story mirrors countless accounts from locals who avoid that route after dark. It's easy to dismiss these as folklore, but sometimes your gut remembers what your map forgets. Trust instincts, but never overrule cold facts. Your late-night shortcuts could hide secrets others refuse to see. Stay alert. What feels familiar can be a trap. Experts now urge travelers to share live routes with trusted contacts. Secrecy breeds shadows where danger thrives. In Dylan's case, his failure to broadcast his exact location delayed rescue efforts by crucial hours. Tech is only as good as the data you share. Transparency saves lives. Digital footprints are your safety net. If you're going off-grid, let someone know the route and timing. In isolation, even the strongest signals can fade to silence. Story 3. The Locked Door Broadcast. How do screams echo from a flat sealed tight with police tape? When new tenants moved into an old downtown apartment, they expected creaky floors. Not the radio that tuned itself to 666 kilohertz at midnight, broadcasting what sounded like distant cries. The building was officially vacant for months, locked and sealed after a violent incident. Yet every night the radio flickered to life, repeating the same chilling pattern. A woman's voice trapped between panic and pleading. Some doors may close, but voices don't always stay quiet. Always listen for what's unseen. Silence can scream louder than noise. One evening, a local technician tried to fix the rogue radio signal, but the antenna on the rooftop baffled him. It wasn't registered, built, or maintained by anyone on record. Yet it kept broadcasting, as if powered by something beyond the city grid. Neighbors reported static-filled whispers seeping through walls and windows, unsettling even the toughest skeptics. Technology can be hijacked by forces you never expect. Sometimes the scariest signals aren't glitches, they're messages. Don't ignore odd tech. It might be a call for help disguised as interference. Voice print analysis stunned experts. The broadcast matched a woman officially declared dead in 1998. Her disappearance had been cold for decades, but the audio fingerprints were unmistakable, down to her unique speech patterns and inflections. Forensic linguists say, speech patterns survive where bodies don't. This haunting signal wasn't a ghost story. It was evidence screaming for closure. Voices can outlive silence. When the dead speak, listen closely. They might reveal what the living won't. A forensic linguist explained that voice prints carry subtle emotional markers impossible to fake or erase, like fingerprints for sound. In this case, the recordings revealed heightened fear, desperation, and a faint accent linked to the victim's hometown. This wasn't random noise or a radio prank. It was a cry encoded in sound waves. When words persist beyond death, experts listen differently. Voice forensics are emerging as a new frontier in solving cold cases. The next breakthrough might come through your speakers. Not a crime lab. A local pirate signal hunter tracked the rogue broadcast to a rusty rooftop antenna no one claimed. The antenna appeared overnight, like a ghostly beacon, a lifeline for the lost voice. Despite police attempts to confiscate it, the signal returned within hours, as if protected by unseen forces. It wasn't just technology, it was a message refusing to be silenced. Sometimes, chasing shadows leads you to the truth hidden in plain sight. Watch for signals others miss. They may be your key to unlocking silence. In buildings sealed tight by police tape, silence isn't always empty. The tenants learn to check every device, radios, phones, even old intercoms, for faint signs of life. Some channels hide screams beneath static, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. Verify every silence. Some signals are cries in disguise. In a world that prioritizes noise, the quietest frequencies often carry the loudest truths. Never underestimate what lurks in the static. Story 4. The Vanishing Ride. What if your rideshare driver disappears mid-trip, but your app says the journey is still on? Maya Collins experienced this nightmare on a foggy night when her driver's GPS trace froze, and he never showed up at her destination. The app's screen glowed, "Trip in progress," while she stood alone on a deserted road, no car in sight. Digital illusions can mask real danger. Never rely solely on virtual status. Always share your live location with someone you trust. Maya wasn't the only passenger left stranded that night. Others reported waiting for rides that never arrived, drivers unreachable, phones unanswered. Surveillance cameras captured empty streets and parked cars with engines running, but no drivers inside. It wasn't just a tech glitch, it was a ghost ride haunting the city's edges. When the system fails, your awareness is your only safeguard. If something feels off, trust it, and act fast. Investigators uncovered a baffling discrepancy. App timestamps showed a smooth, continuous trip, but surveillance footage revealed gaps, sometimes several minutes, where the driver vanished from camera view entirely. These black holes in the timeline couldn't be explained by traffic or signal loss. Experts now suspect sophisticated GPS spoofing that manipulated the app's tracking to cover something sinister. When time doesn't add up, reality is breaking down. Always question seamless tech. Underneath can lurk dangerous cracks. Investigators uncovered a baffling discrepancy. App timestamps showed a smooth, continuous trip, but surveillance footage revealed gaps, sometimes several minutes, where the driver vanished from camera view entirely. These black holes in the timeline couldn't be explained by traffic or signal loss. Experts now suspect sophisticated GPS spoofing that manipulated the app's tracking to cover something sinister. When time doesn't add up, reality is breaking down. Always question seamless tech. Underneath can lurk dangerous cracks. Cybersecurity analyst Lena Park warns, virtual routes can be hacked to erase real-world events, making disappearances seem like glitches. She explains how attackers exploit GPS vulnerabilities to create phantom trips or hide movements altogether. In Maya's case, this meant someone tampered with her driver's digital trail, turning a real threat into a data ghost story. Trust tech, but verify constantly. The future of safety depends on smarter defenses and your own vigilance.